Oh, I know.
No, Turkish people. Easy question.
Yeah, they also thought that I looked like Turkish when I was there. They also thought that I looked like Iranian or Afghan or something. It depends. But yeah, that's how many Turkish do. And yeah, some of more like Turkish truck drivers, Turkish car drivers brought us for lunch. Like all of the car drivers like insisted to bring us for lunch, even if we wanted or not. Like we could never like refuse. Otherwise, they would be like very offended. Yeah. These are people who brought us to Iraq. These are actually like Turkish magicians and belly dancers who are performing in Iraq, and we ended up with going with them with a van, minivan, and they became our host because they hosted us in a hotel where they stayed. Like they had some kind of spare room at the balcony, something like that. It was quite comfortable, so they hosted us over there. This is my other driver from Iraq who bought a lot of beer, and he shares his beer with us. This is a driver from Iran who didn't want to let us go. Like it was very slow because like the road was slow and then the track was slow. But he didn't want to like let us go. Like he was bribing us with some cucumbers and like carrots that he was buying on the road. Like he just wanted to change the car and take some like faster car, but he was like no. He was just like stopping and buying something. You're slow. I said no, go faster. Don't go faster. Like it's mountains or something. So we ended up staying with him for maybe 12 hours or something. He drove us from Iraq to some point in Iran where he took a different road. And we were just surrounded by 30 people and who didn't have idea like what we are doing, because hitchhiking in Iran doesn't really exist as a term. But then eventually we managed to find some ride and go further. This is my other driver who brought us from Urmia to Tabriz, like, and we passed near the Salt Lake, so we stopped there with him, and then he brought us at his home for lunch. And when our host appeared, they didn't actually want to give us to our host. They were insisting that we stay with them, and so they almost had a fight with our actual host, like because they wanted to keep us there. Anyway, these are other drivers, like some Iranian version of Groucho Marx, and some it was Azerbaijani man, like they had like a rude sense of humor, but they were quite interesting as a tandem. This is a guy from Balochistan that drove us in the center of Iran to Yazd. And we had like camping in front of his truck in the middle of the desert in Iran. It was quite nice.
Wow.
Another guy, truck driver from Iran, who brought me and my other friend. At some point, like after my Italian friend left, my other friend from Russia that I hosted like 2 years ago joined me on a 2-week trip until border of Pakistan. Then she went to Pakistan alone, and she had a good experience anyway. And then we met in China after I crossed all these countries, all these stands. And after like several months in China, after like 8 months, like we met again in Thailand. So it's kind of interesting. Like
Wow. Randomly met.
Yeah. I mean, we were following each other, and our paths crossed. I ended up meeting actually many people from couchsurfing that I met like before a couple of years or something like that on this trip, and like I had like some kind of reunion. Anyway, this guy drove me and her and some other guy who joined us on a hitchhiking trip, and we were listening to some kind of Iranian folk music. So he was like half driving, half dancing. And yeah, these are some other guys who drove us like to the east of Iran.
Speak any
And this is
Farsi?
my bus driver in Afghanistan.
Do you speak any Farsi?
Yeah, I learned some basics back then, so I can like manage with people who didn't understand me, like to explain like who am I, where am I going, and
Salam,
use.
Chatori,
Oh?
Ubi.
Man musafira mazuro pa de chin, man beroje korbe chin. I don't know, like a little bit like explaining like Arabic, but
Oh, hi, Mizan.
you can speak Farsi?
Yeah, I'm from Iran.
Oh, you're from Iran?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Amazing. From which city?
From Tehran.
Oh, from the capital.
Yeah.
Actually, compare Tehran with Jakarta, except that Jakarta doesn't have parks.
I haven't been to Jakarta, but
Okay, so, I mean, because like pollution and traffic and stuff.
yeah.
Otherwise, like people are really nice in both cities.
Yeah.
Loud food and
And like, yeah, this is my first driver in Afghanistan. And after this driver, like I was planning actually to go to the north of Afghanistan, but all the roads which are leading from Herat to Kabul are kind of dangerous. So eventually I ended up choosing like the most dangerous road, but I will talk about this later. This is more just about the drivers. Anyway, like from this to this trip, like I arrived like in Kabul, and from Kabul I also had like some other drivers. Like this driver, I even managed in the middle of the road to catch some kind of bus which drove me for free. I realized I was thinking like, why are they driving me for free or something? So they drove me to the north of Afghanistan to Mazar-e-Sharif, and we arrived there at 4 a.m. All the passengers from the bus were gone. I woke up and we were in the middle of nowhere. I was alone in a bus. Like my driver was sleeping outside. I was thinking maybe like abducted by Taliban or whatever. I said, okay, like I'll just continue sleeping until I see like what's happening. And then I woke up and I said, okay, like time to unload these magazines from the bus. So we were just like, I don't know, unloading these magazines like for like 1 or 2 hours or something.
Oh.
And after that, I went to towards Tajikistan, and this guy gave me a ride to the border actually. He was going over there, and from the border, like I hitched to Dushanbe, and in Dushanbe I spent some days, and after that, like I continued towards Pamir, and I caught this guy who had like the whole truck of potatoes. And I ended up spending the whole day with him, like selling potatoes, like in a local market, like yelling, like potatoes, potatoes. And, yeah.
Well,
He even gave me my share.
in fact, there was hash inside.
Oh?
In fact, there was hashish inside.
each potato was hollow.
Yeah, we sold the whole potatoes. It was amazing.
Good potato.
He gave you your share. He paid you.
He actually paid me a little bit. Yeah. He told me, oh, you earned it. Like there you go. Like have a good trip. Anyway, like I spent like a time like I spent a night sleeping at the top of his truck together with him. It was interesting. And eventually I found like in the Pamir at some point it's very hard to find like to find a car who is going like a longer way, especially towards Korog, which is like the only town in Pamir region. Pamir is like autonomous region of Tajikistan, which has like their own like kind of culture, religion, like and of course like problems, like ethical problems with living.
Hi.
So this guy drove me for 2 days across through the Pamir, and for most of the trip I had a feeling that we are like the only car that is going over there. After some time, like the second part of Pamir was kind of difficult. Like I found these guys, some Uyghur guys from Xinjiang province in China, who were driving me like to the only village like in East Tajikistan called Murga. And for this ride I waited for 2 days because like I met some truck terminal manager and he told me that he will arrange a truck for me. But since the traffic is very low to these areas, like I waited a little bit, like 2 days. And I went with these 2 guys. And I ended up in the truck terminal with all trucks like going to China. Unfortunately I was going to Kyrgyzstan, where almost nobody's going, so I ended up like waiting there for a long
Is
time.
he a hunter or is he just dressed like that?
Good question. Might be an answer. I don't know.
Coffee.
Then like I waited at some point like for a long time. Actually, this last point of like from Tajikistan to Kyrgyzstan was the most difficult, and sometimes there are no cars. So after 5 hours of waiting, some guy arrived and he picked me up. I mean, he couldn't believe that I'm on the road, and he told me that I was sent by Allah to him. So like I was picked up by him, and then I was hosted at his house. It's his house. That's one of his kids. Like he has like 8 kids, and he was like looking at me while I was eating breakfast. Interesting.
Whoa.
This is my host from Kyrgyzstan, and who decided to join me on hitchhiking for like 3 more days around Kyrgyzstan. And this is some random cop who gave us a ride to the next one. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah, probably because I didn't take a picture. When I was in Iran, I hitched a cop who had like 2 prisoners behind me. I didn't realize they're prisoners until he went out of the car. And then prisoners tried to talk something to me, and then I see that they're moving, and then I saw the handcuffs. And the cop came back like with like food bringing to me and prisoners. It was so funny. Interesting anecdote. So it was not the only time that I kissed a cop. It happened like many times.
Wow.
That guy drove me like for maybe 8 or 10 hours, like from some place in Kyrgyzstan to the capital, to Bishkek. At first, he didn't want to stop, but then like I managed to persuade him by blah 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 blah. I'm going on Serbia. I'm going. So he then why? Okay, come. Like, and then like we had a good conversation. So he decided to keep me. First, he was thinking to bring me like 50 kilometers, but then like he drove me all the way. And actually, we had like a very good time. I mean, a very good conversation. And, he went with his brother to the capital, so his brother can get operated. Like, but there was like the long way to the capital. All on a map, it looks like very, very short. Something like in Indonesia, like you need like ages to cross like small distances. That's my driver in Kazakhstan. Before him, like I entered